We're having a look at a game that I haven't played before, but many people have... I'm not sure if it's many people who have asked for it, or if it's a few people who have asked many times. It's one of the two. This is Pathologic. Not the original Pathologic. The original Pathologic came out in, I believe, 2005. And remains something... would I want to call it a cult classic, or did enough people even know about it to consider it a cult classic? Maybe it was even more cult than cult classic. Extremely niche. It's extremely a game that someone else has heard of before you have heard of it. But 10 years later, an HD remaster came out in 2015. Get it on Steam. That's what we're looking at right now. There's also Pathologic 2, which is more recent. But we're looking at the first game. We're going to start a new game, and we're going to see how this goes.
So, it's all about trickery to you? Wherever have you come from?
No. I detest trickery. But if we ourselves are to suffer deception, our hands are no longer tied. Where are we?
Well, the muscular contraction is there. Means you're already inside of him. This must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed. So it's not real for now?
There are no subtitles, by the way.
Started yet.
Does it matter what it's made of? It's definitely struggling. We need to perform sectio transversalis.
This is just how it starts.
The way out. What else is there to do?
I know what to do. Those who favor hard logic and direct action are bound to be misguided.
The volume is turned up, by the way.
Set us free without us having to destroy something. And I can do miracles. Just let me.
Will you please be quiet? You're a liar and a thief. Who is going to believe you when you keep lying to yourself? The truth is my shepherd. Whatever happens, I will find answers, and justice will be restored. I will perform the operation. Medica morbo adhibe.
Don't you go all bossy on me, clever clogs. You will act justly, but your justice will blind you and become his demise. This calls for the gentle hand of a surgeon. Step aside, both of you.
Your gentle hands are used to killing, not giving life. You will inevitably do harm. As for Brainy, he has no regard for casualties at all. Neither of you knows compassion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that we'll get along well, but there's only one truth.
Any choice is right as long as it's willed. That's the truth of the matter.
Only the heart will show you the right choice. Stop thinking about yourselves. Think of the sick. He's in pain. I can't see it yet, but I can feel it.
It's not even a trap. It's a grave. Subipsum funis sumus. Can't say I hold a soft spot for it.
I can see that. You're full of hate. Stuffed or not, it's breathing. I can hear it. It can be healed rather than killed.
You mean you won't become a killer? But you will. Mark my word, that's exactly what will happen. But I can avoid it.
No, we won't ever get along. I suggest we be on our way. The sooner the better.
Off we go then?
Let's go. The clock is ticking.
So, I think those are the three protagonists of the game. And they're arguing about each other's, the strategy each of them employs to try to solve the problem. Oh, hold on. The stage is dark. The play is over. It is time for us to go through the door. So, the only thing I really know about the game is that it's about going to a village that is dying from a plague. And you have to try to stop it. But you will probably fail and die. It is a very, it's a game about death and how things how happy endings don't really happen. Maybe there's a way to get a happy ending, I don't know. Here are the protagonists: the Bachelor, the Haruspecs, and the Changeling, though the Changeling's not available right now. You have to do the other two to get her open. Now, who am I going to pick? Well, I'm pretty sure that the Bachelor was the one in that little opening conversation that called someone else Clever Clogs. So I'm probably just going to pick him. His background is that he's a doctor, I believe, and that's what seemed like the most useful profession to have when you're going to a town that's caught up in this plague. The Haruspex is... I can't tell from this what he does. Is the Bachelor the doctor? You know, looking at these descriptions, I can't even tell. I think I'm gonna pick the Bachelor and see how we do.
Daniil Dankovsky, a Bachelor of Medicine, was brought here by circumstances most unfortunate. Dankovsky's life work, his theory challenging the existing notions of human mortality, is being harshly persecuted by the powers that be. Suddenly, a letter arrives from a colleague suggesting that there is previous undiscovered evidence which may support Dankovsky's claims. There is a settlement, the letter says, ruled by an extraordinary man who may well be seen as objective proof of Dankovsky's daring hypothesis. Grasping at straws of hope, Dankovsky decides to follow what he believes to be the sign of divine providence. Without further ado, he sets off for the settlement. Late at night, Bachelor arrives in the town. As he seeks room and board, he gets to know a girl called Eva Yan and stays at her place till dawn.
All right. We're staying at this house. Are those her casual clothes? I mean, I guess that we all wear what we want at home. I'm a bit more of a slob, though, honestly. Okay, mission remains obscure. Examination of Simon Kane, rumored to be a man of incredible longevity, may shake the foundation of modern thanatology and challenge the existent notion of death itself. Okay, guy who lives a long time, we gotta study him. Even if the undying Leviathan proves to be more than a fairy tale, the mere confirmation of his existence won't suffice to prevent the powers that be from shutting our laboratory down. Powers that be want to shut us down. We have to provide results to stop them from doing that. Okay. I need to figure out the most fruitful approach. Simon is a well-respected man. If he mistakes my interest for effrontery, it's a nice word, it would be nigh impossible for me to convince him to break new grounds in the field of human vitality. We have to be polite and know our manners when we speak to Simon. Okay. We are fighting the vanquishable foe. We must do what we can. Here's a bed. We can sleep, I think. But, I mean, we just woke up. No time for that. I think we can look at this. Yeah, I think we keep stuff in this. There's a weapon. What is that? Scalpel. Okay, large cartilage scalpel can be used as a close combat weapon. This text is not great. Not very easy to handle, very effective to its sharpness. Deals the most damage when attacking from the front. Okay. Well, hopefully we won't have to kill many people. Clothes? What clothes? Protective gloves, made of synthetic material, serves as a good repellent. Protect the hands from contact with infected surface, moderate against burnt gears and burning slabs, 100. Okay. Drugs. We have so much drugs with us. Meridorm, painkiller, morphine, alpha tablets, tourniquet, rations. We have a ration. We have a water. An other. We have another. We have one other. We have 30 other actually. Oh, it's kerosene. We have 30 kerosenes, and we have 1430 monies. Okay. Oh. That's an interesting stairwell. Hello.
I had a feeling you would come.
That's not what that says there. Did the sounds from the outside wake you up too? There was a terrible groan and something snapped loudly. Nope, I didn't hear nothing. Strangers in the backyard, by the pond. They're unlikely to be planning mischief. Why do you think they're not planning mischief? Population is thin, crime non-existent. Sometimes pranks, fights sometimes. People are young here, they go out at night. But no one would actually do anyone harm, I guess. I'll go out and take a look. I must see this founding father of yours. I'm a busy man. Are you willing to trade the company of a fascinated woman for that of a dreadful old man, even if he is a sorcerer? I didn't consider that maybe he's magic, but apparently he's lived for a long time. Simon won't go anywhere. He will always be here, even if the moon were to fall. I mean, I'm a man of business. I have to take care of business. Simon's a sorcerer? Tell me about this. Are you in that much of a hurry? The Canes are asleep now. Take my coat off. Rest in her bed. I mean, she's making some serious offers here, but I mean, I have to keep my eyes on the mission. My laboratory's on the brink of destruction. I have to find this man. If he's managed to live that long, his tissues will help us defeat death, the undefeatable enemy. It's the enemy that, yeah, I guess we've chosen that enemy for ourselves. No one has ever managed to defeat death. My enemy is inevitability. I am challenging the forces of nature. She doesn't understand. Just show me. I could say all this, but show me where Simon lives. Yeah, what advice? I'm always open for advice. Simon's two younger brothers. The eldest is Georgie. He's called the Judge. Visit him first. He isn't asleep. How do you know he's not asleep right now? Does he ever sleep? He will teach you how to speak with Simon. Oh, good. I need someone to teach me the manners, so Simon does not think I'm committing effrontery. The youngest is Victor, and then there's the daughter Maria. It's probably important. Did Maria know about my arrival? Okay, Maria knew that we were coming. Talking to her is no simple task. Like, this entire family just is very specific as to how you talk to them, I guess. She puts on airs, but that's how the Canes are. It was Maria who told Ava that she would help you defeat death. Alright, thanks. She'll prepare things, come back after I speak to the Canes. They will probably do many things that will puzzle me. Sure, I'll come back. Here's a map. Simon Kane, the man of improper longevity. I like how they word that. He lives a long time. It's improper. He's waiting there. I only need a living evidence of the impossible. The Crucible, mansion of Victor Kane. Mysterious Maria, Victor Kane's... Okay, so their houses are all, like, next to each other. Okay, Eva Yan, this is where we are. So we're gonna walk down this road. Thanks, Eva. Eh. Well, there are some interesting-looking figures here. But Eva said that there were people in the backyard, maybe making a fuss, and she was concerned. I guess that's them over there. She has a pretty sizable backyard. I don't know why they chose this one particular place to make a campfire. The toasted marshmallows? I don't know if they have marshmallows in this village. It seems like maybe they don't have a surplus of stuff here, but you never know. Maybe there's some marshmallows that could be toasted. Hello. How we doing? What do you want? This ain't your business. This first choice seems a little rude. Nothing, I'm just taking a stroll. Oh. I guess I do need to ask, what is this creature? Is this his portrait? That doesn't look like him. And Adangda, that's what all them cattle breeders look like. Crude and unshapely unfinished. We don't know about this. I'm a visitor in this town. Who could have thought it's home to such creatures? Let me speak to the creature. Hello? The worm feels sick, head packed, blood boiling, belly freezing. Let the worm warm up. Let him take a rest. That's some stench, you animal. How on earth do you even live like that? Oh, this is the nicer of the two options. Okay, I guess. Alright, I guess Ava was right. They're not planning mischief. I guess they're just warming themselves up. So who am I to tell them that they shouldn't do that? I mean, I guess Ava doesn't really mind just as long as they don't do any mischief. Now, is this a statue or... No, it's moving. Is this a person? Yeah? He's gonna have to teach me about the technicalities of the setting, the time and the place. It's not essential. An actor has to be prepared before he goes on stage or else he'll fall down the aisle and stumble upon the prompt box. Who are you? An actor in a tragic mind show, but the identity is unimportant. Sure, I'm listening. Executor? Time flies by, cannot be stopped or turned back. Night follows days, which are followed by nights. Things happen with any regard, whether or not you witness them. Is this a tutorial? Are you teaching me about how the game works? It would make sense for me to visit the places that I care about regularly. You'll find the people that will play major roles in your fate there. They stand out from common folk. The rest are just a crowd shot, a background, and a bunch of extras. Yeah, I remember. Agent York told me. He separates people into two categories. It was investigators and suspects, and the rest are just vegetables, as it always has been. It's best to avoid hasty judgment. It's a paradox. Don't try to care too much for their lives. Don't be too dismissive of the silent crowd. Both extremes will end in tragedy. World cares for my reputation. Changes the world I see. It's a mirror. A bad reputation get me in trouble. Everything changes from mystical aspects to mundane things like the people you need treating you badly. How many enemies you got, how high the prices rise, how bad your dreams are. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not betray, do not steal, do not covet, do not be an asshole, don't get caught. The rules are the same everywhere, and a truly selfless deed can help in a dire situation. You can't see anything in the mask, no idea what's going on. Don't get too worked up about human lives. Don't put too much stock into people's words. Yet you trust no one is deluded. I know that from experience. Okay, I guess that conversation's over. Hello. Conversation won't take too much time. Time stops during dialogues. At least during the important ones. I need to know how to play. What are you talking about? Play. What is this play you speak of? I experience hunger, thirst, and fatigue. I suffer from pain, wounds, and diseases. I have to eat, drink, sleep, and rest, and to make mistakes. The latter being the proof of my human nature. I mean, we all make mistakes, of course. It's important to keep an eye on my condition. If I get dizzy or naturally sluggish, I should have it checked. Vital processes tend to run faster during emergencies. Person died of stress but was diagnosed with starvation. Yeah, sure, it happens. Hunger is sated with food. Food found in shops. Shops found in ordinary houses marked with specific signs. For sleep, you can only sleep in beds, only in private residences. That's just how things are. Different shops sell similar items at different prices. Don't get cheated. People can be brazen. Barter with the folk in the street. Some things may be nothing more than trinkets. But some people, some people's trash are other people's treasure. If I ever consider easing someone's pain, feel free to just give them drugs. The sick fall asleep when they're close to recovery. Helping the hopeless will grant me a good reputation. Seen as a benefactor willing to part with my drugs. Show me the way to Simon's house. Turn left, walk along alley. When we see the cathedral, we see the mansions across. Simon lives the one that's close to the river. Okay. So the map said, I think map is this. Yeah, map is M, which is good. It's an intuitive key to map the map too. All right, we're heading off down the road. People we could talk to, but we don't have time for that. We need to get to see this man who has lived an improperly long time. And apparently we need to do that because we need to get some results for our experiments. Otherwise, the powers that be are going to shut us down. That is some interesting construction right there. Like, those seem totally unnecessary. It makes it look like the cathedral has legs. I don't think that offers any sort of additional, that's also interesting. Any additional support, I doubt, but they're there. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, that's the handprint. It's a pretty tree, but I cannot interact with it. Alright, any immortals living here? I'm here to see an immortal. Does anyone know where the immortal is? Hello? Are you the immortal?
I have a heartache.
Yeah? Oh, this is Georgie. Ava said we needed to talk to Georgie because Georgie could tell us how to talk to Simon in the proper way. Great impatience. They've been expecting me. I need not delve into the minutiae of their business. I'm happy about that. Aware of the difficulties that I was experiencing, well prepared to do the utmost to support me. Hurts to have to inform me. Simon is dead. Great. We were here to see an immortal, and it turns out the immortal has been killed. I can't believe it. It cannot be. Brother was murdered last night under strangest of circumstances, but for all the mystery surrounding the death, let's eschew the notion that his departure was connected with whoever... Well, someone visited Simon that evening? The visitor is a man of laudable rectitude. What does that mean? And an old friend of the family. I mean, it doesn't mean he's not a murderer. You should probably tell me who the visitor is. Who is it? Someone I know. My colleague, Isidore Burrick. Was he not the very... Okay, so Isidore told us to come here. I would have told you that I'd been brought here by the hand of fate not so long ago. A naive man that I was. Isidore has done more than he thinks. Time itself is using uncontestable powers to further its own intentions. Categories like time, nature, and fate deprive man of responsibility for what goes on around him. I was taught to avoid this worldview. Could be that the mind is clouded by sorrow. Cannot escape the feel. Yeah, our arrival is no coincidence. My choice was made for me. Let us not blame fate for it. Isidore wrote to me without making them aware. He took a risk of displeased our family. Why do you speak the word fate with such disgust? Prefer the word time, in the fatalistic sense of the notion, of course. So Simon didn't know I was coming? They were uncertain when I would arrive, but Simon did know and was looking forward. The tragedy may have been a consequence of the actions he took. Someone is taking a powerful piece from the chessboard, a piece upon which my possession depended. It's doubly regrettable that Simon was playing on my side. So you presume the queen knew of the blow and sacrificed itself for a pawn? But why? To grant you victory over death? Yes, that was my ultimate aspiration. Simon played a very dangerous game with fate itself. He wanted to provide me with a body of evidence. What did he do? It's no importance of what exactly he did. He took another leap for the stars and paid a terrible price for it. He was murdered. Subject of importance here is the identity of the murderer. Everything has gone to rack and ruin. I wish I could take vengeance upon the person who ripped the life from this man. Do I want to help them? Yeah. Find the murderer. Brother Victor is in the wing next door. We can talk to Victor on the matter. And we get a reward. Let's see. Indeed, it seems that there are too many coincidences. Your brother's murder can just as well be called the murder of Bachelor Dankovsky. I will help you in every way I can. I'm convinced that there's anyone at all that can help me solve this puzzle. It is me. The mission calls for someone as a student inventive as myself. If Isidore was an instrument of fate, Simon's murder is a message that fate intended for me personally. Do not think that he is inclined. He does not blame me. How do you plan to look for the murderer? They will take our own measures. The only thing I need to do is be myself. Do what I think is required. Everything is a clue. Everything that's happening here is because of me. I'm fine with this course of action. Okay. Got this. This is where Victor is. All right. Well, things are going bad already. You know, looking at the dialogue of our character, I feel like if it was voice acted, it would be, what was the name? The actor robot from Futurama, Calculon. It's been a long time since I watched that show. I kind of feel like that is who would be playing this. Is Vic not here? Victor. I'm in your house, Victor. There you are. You are quite younger, it's true.
Perhaps old Gimsky is setting a trap for this newly arrived haruspect.
Someone setting a trap? I didn't quite catch that. Okay. Daniel Danikovsky at yours. Foresees that things that have become ordinary will probably make me feel uncomfortable and disturbed. The small community has fallen out of the loop. Time left us behind. What do you mean by that? The games they play with passion will be of no interest to me. The people I meet may seem eccentric, naive, or maybe deranged. Take it easy on them. Don't judge them too strictly. I hope we will be able to work in the atmosphere of mutual trust.
There's buzzing in my ears.
Well, Georgie has told me everything. Georgie has told me everything, which is to say, he told me very little, but it was enough to astound me. He maintains that you can provide a more detailed account. I have agreed to help, it's true. Asking why? Well, let's see. I have 3 choices. The killer's goals seem to align astonishingly well with the goals of those who've been waging war against my work for years. Okay, I guess that was good enough for him. Where was Simon last seen? He sent Isidore home. An hour later, came to the hall, announced his plan to withdraw to the focus. Don't approach the focus. Fast for a week, partaking of neither meat nor water. In the morning, he was found dead. So... Was it Simon? Was he telling the rest of his family to fast, or was Simon himself fasting? It sounds like he's saying that the family needs to fast for reasons. Why no meat or water? He wanted to be mourned beforehand. What? Did he know he was going to die? This guy must have a significant ego on him if he goes to his family and say, I want you to not eat any meat or drink any water for a week. Just to grieve my death in advance. Did he know in advance he was going to die? This is precisely what Georgie fears, but he doesn't really know. How was the body discovered? Servants discovered him in the morning. The room had been ransacked. Everything that was breakable had been broken. His disfigured, contorted body bore signs of terrible suffering. His neck was twisted, his spine broken. No one's touched the body. It's currently inside the focus and will remain there for the prescribed amount of time. What is this focus place? It's hard to explain. It's his study, an extraordinarily spacious creative laboratory, almost perfectly sealed off, except for the door that's visible at all times. A metaphorical door, however. I don't understand. It's like an equation or a mirror puzzle. The murderer could not have been hiding there. We'll just have to take his word for it. Well, Simon did get in there somehow. Simon could perform impressive feats. That's a reason why the whole town revered him. Tell me honestly, dear Victor, did Simon exist at all? Bravo! There's a spark of genius to me, but alas, he did. Alas. It's not that he would benefit from his death, that would be too simple an explanation, but Simon existed. That's what left everyone in disarray. It was so hard to accept this existence that the thought of his demise... It was too hard to accept his existence. The thought of his death is driving them mad. It's an interesting sentence. You are all his heirs. Wouldn't you all benefit from his death? Didn't the old man rather overstay his welcome in the world? His death is a challenge to continued existence. We are neither insane nor suicidal. I assume that with him dead, that the family doesn't have the power in the town that they used to. Who do you suspect? Take a look around, trust intuition, speak to whoever I feel the need to. Look for the murderer doctor and I will find them. Keep looking till the last breath. Rational thinking will help me. Isidore is the only lead. How can I find him? Simon's murderer, whoever they are, could not be an ordinary person. Can't imagine them even being a person. It could only be fate wearing the guise of a monster. Pshaw! I don't believe in fate. Okay, that's that. What's this? This is where Isidore lives. Man, that's who told us to come here. He's the last person that saw Simon Kane alive. So, can I move them? Okay, I can move this around. Okay, these are quite far away. Alright, so bridge. Then there's a bridge that connects that. Okay. So we can walk there. Can I go in here? Oh, that's outside. Was there something else through those doors? What about this? No, not a real door. Well, it's a beautiful day. Clear sky. Like, parts of the sky are clear. You can, like, see a little bit of blue. Yeah, it looks like we're going in the right direction. I guess we don't necessarily just have to go straight there. Whoops, straight there. We could walk around and just, like, see if we can talk to people and go into places, but it's such a large town. So much to walk across that doesn't seem to really be any way of knowing if there's any place relevant to go, aside from it being marked on our map. But, hey, maybe that's just what you would learn after playing a number of times. Just make sure that we're continuing to go where we need to go. Yeah, well, I mean, we're between... I could hang a little to the left. We're between bridges right now. I think we should be going to... Whoops, going towards that bridge? Yeah, we should. I might have to walk around this. I don't know if it'll let me just walk past it. I have a feeling it won't, yeah. I don't think I can just, like, mantle over this. Probably not. Well, it's an ad for something. Can't really tell what. I mean, you walk by something like that, you just kind of have to say, well, let's just see if we could walk up to the top of that. It's a nice view, but it doesn't seem like there's anything up here for us. Wonder if I would have gotten something else marked on the map if I didn't ask about Isidore. Because the options were to ask about Isidore. The other one was to ask if Victor suspected anyone. I wonder if I had asked that one, would I have gotten something, a different answer and something different marked on the map? No, looks like it's over here. Is it this one or the one behind that fence? I guess it's the one behind that fence. This one, yeah, this is the one. Can I get in here? Well, here's another fence. This is not the build. No, it's the adjacent building. Here we go. Okay. He's got guards, does he? Hello, sir. A foul oh no, another murder? No unauthorized access allowed. Inspecting the crime scene is forbidden. Who was killed? Yeah, it was Isidore. Isidore was also a surgeon. Skilled doc, outstanding man. Does it really always have to take the very best? What a foul time to live in. I knew him. I'm a doctor, too. Whoever killed the doc must be looking to get everyone killed, because Isidore could cure anything. Knew how to make cuts, incisions. He was a warden. He knew his lines all right. Like lines in a play, because we're all actors in a play. It all makes sense. Whoever killed Simon killed Isidore. This is only the beginning. Only the beginning? What makes you so sure? The murderer's deal is all mysterious. There was a talon stuck in the victim's chest. Bend your arm at the elbow, good sir. That's how long it was. It broke off. There was dust on the floor. The deceased had been a renowned step walker. The dust was covered in hoof steps, like traces of a sharp bone, as if someone was using a walking stick. It's her, the Shabnak Adder, the clay man-eater. All right, enough of this. Is there a person of simpler mind assigned to work with the case? Assigned to this post by Alexander, the head of the Sabarov family. His house is in decline, still powerful and very much respected. It's responsible for maintaining worldly order and public safety since olden days. Address concerns to Alexander Sabaroff. There's their rod. Just take the road up there, get to the Cape. Not authorized to let me in. Okay. Okay, here's Alexander's house. I wonder if he'll be dead as well. There's like a fire happening here. What's going on? No, someone is being set on fire. Well, I guess that was it for the nightly burning. Everyone's feeling good. What is it that she was burned on? What is this? I can't. It looks like a horn. All right. Well, everyone was having a good time, I guess. Hello. Oh dear, what have you done? How is it? That was no Shabnak. That was a girl, living girl. Hope you'll find yourself in her place as soon as today. This is good words. Let me condemn more people. Smells like burning flesh? Huh, a mistake. Gotta keep looking. Let's find the bitch. Haven't combed my backbone yet. Where's the patrol? Have you murdered them too? Okay, so they burned this woman thinking she's a monster, but it turned out they realized that she was actually just a human. But in the fire, she is not to burn, for she is made of clay. Wrong, all wrong. Hardened, she mustn't fall apart. What have you done, you dimwits? You never have any answer for me. Alright, they got it wrong. I guess find someone else. Maybe they'll get it right next time, is the idea. I'm walking away from where I need to be going. Well, I mean, there's only so many mysterious women that they can burn before they run out, right? Like, eventually they're going to say, well, I guess we burned everyone and none of them were monsters. What are we going to do now? Yeah, it looks like we're heading the right way. This looks like an important house. They said that their house is in decline. Maybe they killed Simon to try to gain some power back within the town since their house is in decline. Hello, murderer.
It's true. The girl has proven that she's a saint, not a killer.
Yeah? The only proper way for a duel to end is with the death of one of the fighters. That's what battles are supposed to be. Any conflict that has two sides inevitably turns into a battle of good and evil. A brutal philosophy. Not speaking metaphorically or metaphysically, talking about a very particular battle. I'm one of the combatants. Do I favor good or evil? I favor winning. Spoken like a true warrior. Wishes me victory, but she doesn't think there can be victory at all in this battle. You are very kind.
My eyes look just like buttons, don't they?
No? You're overestimating my virtues. Also, do my eyes look like buttons, Katerina? This fight is very unlikely to end in my favor. Does a clay and bone man-eater leave traces of the kind I have witnessed? Only a spell and illusion. They prefer to see it this way. It makes it easier for them. Fight is too big a word. I'm merely assisting Georgie in his efforts to find the murderer. I will have to fight to the death. Even if it's a metaphor, the ending is still unambiguous. If I don't find out what happened before nightfall, I will die. How do you know all this? Oh, okay. Just a straight-up answer. She's clairvoyant. I appreciate that. What's the nature of your visions? It should not be my primary concern. I should concern myself with the number of minutes I have left, and that number is dwindling. She's not going to throw predictions around. Others will tell me how often they came true. Time will tell. Well, it appears I'm in the right house. Is Victor around here? Apparently that's the person I need to talk to. Oh. Well, that wasn't Victor. I don't suppose there's like another door somewhere. Oh yeah, there's another door back here. Oh, there you are. I'm assuming so.
The outcome was to be expected, I'm afraid.
Oh, Alexander, not Victor. Victor was someone else. Alexander is the head of the Saburovs. Finally, I get to see you. You look like a messenger of sorrowful times. Welcome to the Rod. Our meeting is significant in a way. Facing the changes with open eyes and taking the first blow is Alexander's duty. Do you think we're on the verge of an especially unhappy era? No grim events have clouded their existence since last summer. The country has cured its war wounds. Commercial communications have been repaired. Astrologers expect nothing ill. Do I hold astrologers' opinions in high regard? The movements of the planets has an obvious effect in our life. However, I don't think it's humanly possible to gain any profit from that.
I will restore the order here, rest assured.
I did come to meet with Simon. Well, okay, so I was invited by Isidore, so I came to meet him, but now it turns out that ... has been murdered. The murderer is always one step ahead of me, the same one that took Simon's life. At least that's the conclusion suggested by the information at his disposal. Same pattern, same signature. Were there any traces? He hasn't been there himself. He's quite content with interrogating suspects. They already know who they're after. I can join the hunt. Okay. Well, who do you think it is? His own son. Fellow came back from being away for quite a while. His father had sent him to study surgery when he was a greenhorn. He learnt a lot. Wandering scholar turned evil to the bone. All that just to grab the inheritance. Wait, how did you figure that out? It's hard to explain to an outsider like me, but do I believe in clairvoyance? Let's say that I do. I did talk to your wife. Those who've already had opportunities to witness the power of the prophecies, former doubters, first and foremost, rationalists. I did talk to her, yes. Your wife called out Isidore's son specifically? It all adds up. Circumstances of Simon's death makes me wonder too. Isidore's son arrived here last night. Timing speaks against him, matches the time it takes for him to get the crucible to Isidore's house. That's not enough. I'll have to take the investigation into my own hands. Is there anyone who can be of help to me, apart from your wife? There are a few very good analysts. Everyone's more or less superstitious. But Yulia Yurlericheva, perhaps, a level-headed, reasonable person, the only person who remains skeptical about Katerina's talents. She has her own picture of events. What is this Yulia? Came here with an engineering team when the town was being rebuilt. Did logistics and maybe communications. She's a true expert in her field. A polymath. The team left, but she stayed. She has his respect and his fondness. Very well, I'll speak to this Yulia. Here's Yulia. The intelligent Yulia lives here. She may be our only ally in an attempt to put the fairy tales of this backward place to the test of algebra and physics. Ugh, math. I love math so much. Let's see. Okay, so I should turn around and go across that bridge. Math. Looks like this is in the middle of being constructed. Oh, I needed to go the other way. Bridge is this way. Bridge is down here. Head down. Well, let's stay on the road, since seems like if I don't walk on the road, I can be pretty easily blocked off by fences. Alright, I guess this is a clothing shop. You look different from other townspeople. They know about me. Well, I know about you too. What do you think about that? Let's head up in there. I heard there was someone in here who loves math. Where's the math? Where are the numbers hiding? You couldn't hide from me, math lover.
As the mind endeavors to reach one goal, the heart insensibly drags us towards another.
That doesn't sound a whole lot like math to me. I don't know. Lost any capacity for observation. Mind is out of tune. Things no longer add up. Oh, I know what that's like. Before, I had no trouble forming a trustworthy tessellation out of the most imperceptible contingencies. I mean, you could still form a pretty good sentence, it sounds like. She can't get her head around it. Could it be that she's dying? Well, while that's funny, let's, It happens when people are tired. You probably haven't slept for a while, have you? Herba Verana is in blossom, but it blooms every year. Last year, the steppe is filled with its stupefying vapors. The issue she's having doesn't have to do with fatigue or perplexity. She's lost her ability to make distinctive events coincide. Well, everyone has that ability. A single word someone utters may precipitate the birth of their own murderer. This line of philosophizing is barely an intellectual novelty. It's particularly relevant in their neck of the woods. I sometimes feel like I could touch the notions of cause and effect with the tips of my fingers, but now I'm being tedious. I'm sorry to say, but yes, you are being a bit tedious. I thought you were all about math.
This girl is a changeling. She's not the murderer.
Which girl are we talking about? I traveled all the way here to find that both people I wanted to see are brutally murdered. That is how the story goes. I have to find whoever it is that killed Isidore and Simon, and I wanted to ask for your help. Sabarov told me you have a gift for all manner of investigative inquiry. But she doesn't think she's a better investigator than me. She never had a chance to search for a murderer before. Best she can offer is to fill in the blanks with whatever mysterious supernatural entities seem the most fitting. Shabnak Adir is the simple man's scarecrow. I would have followed a different narrative. What's that word? The one you've just said? Shabnak Adir? The steppe demonology describes it as a golem belched up by the earth to punish all manners of delinquency. It is shaped as a young woman, but made of clay and exhumed bone. Okay, so that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid that a golem made of clay and looks like a woman is at large and killing people. I've always suspected that the primitive worldviews still exist in the remote corners of our country, but I couldn't imagine they would be so active. I'd be exasperated by this discussion. Sacrifices, bovine tails, handfuls of milk teeth in a glass beaker. It must be quite vexing for me, because I'm so rational and love math. How would you explain this? The answer is bound to irritate me. You believe that yourself, too? It is beyond debate that Shabnak Adir exists. What's dubious, though, is that bovine tails and milk teeth offer genuine protection. Sympathetic contrivances may be used to children and people from the steppe, but are explicitly inefficacious for someone like you and me. We're too literate, too deprived of the scripture codified in ancient soil. For crying out loud, Yulia, you're a mystic! Saburov was mocking me. Well, we have no choice but to acknowledge the rules enforced by the steppe. They try to ignore the rules, place themselves into the framework of advanced modernity, but to no avail. You can call these demons what you want. You may refer to the hair eater as time, if this will make you any happier. I'm comfortable with more juvenile vernacular. I will find a rational explanation for the crimes of this man-eater by the evening, if you help me, of course. She suggests that Simon was poisoned by the Cain. Yeah, I was thinking the Cains too, but she's thinking no. Mutual loyalty is only rivaled by the arrogance towards someone who is not one of them. They hold the princely sage who stands at the head of their family in highest esteem. They believe a single dishonorable act will tarnish their name for generations to come. I mean, a dishonorable act is only dishonorable if someone knows about it, Yulia. Poisoned? How did you arrive at this conclusion? What does he died in focus really implies? Do I know what the Cains refer to as focus? I don't seem to grasp the semantics of the term. Tell me more about the focus. The focus is anything but an abstraction. It's governed by mathematically rigid regularities. There we go. I want to know about that math. No one but the owner of a focus may get inside. This can only mean that Simon brought the killer with him, or within him, since no physical object may be brought into focus either. How does she know? The Cains are passionate about all Yeah, I'm also notoriously passionate about all manner of synthetic anomalies. Can't get enough of them. They will never pass up the opportunity to devise a construct that will allow them to warp space, challenge physics, or manipulate optics. Metaphysically, a focus can be compared to the camera obscura. Do note that the name is not unfitting. It's not impossible for someone to get inside. And you're also not allowed to eat or drink, but that makes one suspect foul play in regard to Isidore's death. He had been stabbed. Stabbed doesn't describe it. Stock Rubin told Lara that Isidore was slaughtered by some object resemblant of a humongous razor-sharp talon. Yeah, that guy who was guarding the house did mention an enormous talon. Some people will be talking of steppe monsters made of bones. What? A claw-like object? Such was the topography of the wound. I should speak with Reuben directly if I want to know the details. Make haste if I want to get a hold of him. Reuben is eager to join Simon. What? Does Reuben wants to die? Where is Reuben? Mourning his master. They were very close to that. I can't get into Isidore's house. It's a murder scene. They won't let me in. Did I say that Isidore was the last person to see Simon? The question is, who did he see before? The sun had not yet set when Isidore returned from the steppe. He came to Simon well after midnight. The question arises, where did he spend the missing few hours? This is why I'm trying to trace Isidore's steps. I want to walk the same route. Don't get me wrong, though, ... Was Isidore seen with Saburov? I don't know, but Saburov interpreted his coming as an omen of coming unrest among the workers. Let me suggest that when he was in the steppe, he saw or learned something that he wanted to report to all three ruling families. Either of the Olgimsky family should have been on his itinerary, especially since Burka was... Okay, so the third family we have not spoken to. The Bull Project, from the abattoir to the railway, controlled by the Olgimsky family. If Isidore's discovery had anything to do with the kin, Isidore would have related to Vlad. Pay a visit to the Lump. That's the name of their mansion? Why would they call it that? Thank you, Yulia. What would I do without you? Okay, I guess we're looking for the Lump. This is the Lump. The mansion beginning to the Olgimskys, a family of factory owners. The 50-year-old Vladislav, housefather, is called Vlad the Heavy by the locals for his bad temper. I would have thought that nickname would have referred to something else, but I guess not. All right, let's go to the Lump. Also, that's a terrible name for a house. Why would you want your house to be called that? And just make sure. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. So we want to go down the river. And that'll take us to where we need to be. So it sounds like we're suspecting that the murderer is a clay golem, and it seems like the townspeople at large believe this. And they're killing women, just in case they might be a golem. Because, of course, if the golem looks like a young woman and you kill all of the young women, then by default you kill the golem, which is some real LP bot logic. Okay, this is the lump. I mean, I guess the shape of it, you can kind of see why it's the lump. Hello? I'm looking for Vlad the Heavy? Is that you?
I can't breathe. Not enough air.
Yeah, I heard the air's bad. Who else could be? Oh, he says I'm dapper. He thinks I'm dapper. He's heard a lot about me. You need to check the state of industry. They have their own ways. How curious. And what is the current state of your industry? It's a complicated establishment with 1,000 years of history. A special approach is required to control this. See what he's getting at? But no! Such business always leave room for improvement. We're not seeing eye to eye. The project is special. Common standards do not apply here. That would be naive. Well, you have probably mistaken me for someone else. I've nothing to do with your enterprise.
Swine. Beasts. I shouldn't have indulged their whims.
Whose whims has he been indulging? Get everything back on track won't be an easy task. I'd like to inquire about the fate of my colleague, Isidore Barak, about the manner of his death, to be precise. What manner are you talking about? I should mind my own manners, because he had nothing to do with it. Didn't they say Isidore was murdered by a step demon, a Shabnakadir? There was that thingy, a talon they fished out from the wound. I can take this from kids and weirdos, but you, a respectable negotiant. It is hard for me to believe. His son was a scoffer, if he had ever seen one, but now he believes it's real. He went off his head a bit. I'm in the steppe now. Eastern and backwards, the dead rise from their graves, clay dummies dance, and bulls talk. And how do we catch this creature? There must be a way, right? He doesn't know. He's not a steppe man. The animals are interesting as they are productive. All is good as long as the plow is pulled. As for how they're quacking among themselves, who could take interest? Why was I cursed with a son like this? Oh, my sins, my grave sins. So Vlad doesn't really care about the local goings-on. He just wants to make sure that the jobs get done and they produce whatever it is they produce here. You don't seem to like the steppe people. Dangerous, aggressive, and hate everyone who is not a steppe person. They'll jump you and kill you on the spot, tear you up with your teeth and devour your flesh while you're throwing fists. If they're spotted in the town, countermeasures are taken. Oh, so what of your son? Perhaps he could tell me more of this creature. Yeah, I want to talk to your blockhead. He's not here, but he doesn't want me to talk to his son. I won't leave it at that, Vlad. Vlad, tell me where your son is.
I won't believe in some earthen killer.
How do you think Simon died? He doesn't think he was murdered. How could he who craved monocracy not perish? He couldn't, not in this place. Balance requires equilibrium. So what you're saying is that Simon's death worked in favor of the local hotshots, huh? What he's saying is that when someone takes too much upon themselves, they always end up ground down. That's how life works. But they say that Simon was the one to bend the circumstances, not the other way around. No one seems to doubt that. Simon lived a very long life. He was worthy, but long doesn't mean eternal. No one's to blame for his death. I should examine the body. Cain won't let me examine the body. That's only a family tradition. It's temporary. He believes Simon was murdered. Were he to admit that Simon simply died of death, probably go to his last home himself. That's strange. Georgie Cain didn't appear sentimental to me. Tell me where your son is, Vlad.
One will have to be punished for this sin.
Isidore came to see you last night. Don't try to deny it. So what if he did? I am also aware of what you two have been talking about. All I want to know is why he left to see Simon afterwards. Pray forgive me. He wanted to bring me to heel that traitor, that bastard. What he asked for was for him to stop the factory. Isidore wanted the factory to be stopped. What did he tell you? Who else could he have spoken to? Perhaps someone who could take measures? Of what kind? That is none of my business. His property is in order. See the skin and meat delivery report. Okay, they export skin and meats. Do you know how hard? No way! It's his domain. Well, whether anyone riots or not, he will have their way. I see. You're the big guy here, huh? Vlad, your son. It'll be hard. Okay, I guess we've exhausted conversations with Vlad. But that also sort of coincides with us exhausting our hour with Pathologic. And just seeing what the idea is with this. Well, clearly, the main plot so far has been some kind of murder mystery, but was there a murder at all? Who knows if Simon was murdered? Apparently, he just dropped dead in the mathematically resilient location that only he could enter, and Isidore was definitely killed. There was a giant talon in his body, so we know he was murdered. Everyone's kind of secretive. No one really wants to talk to this outsider, the Bachelor. The Bachelor, he doesn't really care that much about the murder, I think. He just kind of wants to know if what he wanted to do was meet Simon, and get evidence of there being an actual immortal. Otherwise, the government will pull his funding. But unfortunately, since Simon's dead, it's bad news for Bachelor. As for where we're supposed to go after this, I don't know. Because nothing new got put on our map. I suppose, probably what we would do at this point is we would go around the town, seeing if we would be able to find anything of note. Like maybe these red houses and such. These ones are named. So even though there are a lot of houses, most of them don't actually have names or anything. Some of them do. I would assume that's probably would be the Sticky's house. Clearly that would be the next location. Head to Sticky's house. Probably that's what we would be doing. It also sounded like we would have a time limit, however, as when night falls, apparently we were going to die. But as the Castle of the Soul and a Halves, the windows of this house are bricked in. So, but that's it for our little time. Oh, this is big. The abattoir. It's enormous. I assume that's the factory. So, well, of course, in the amount of time that we had, we weren't going to figure anything out, but we were just going to take a look at Pathologic HD and get an idea of how the game plays and what it's like, and maybe at some point decide if we want to keep going. I'm not sure, but as it is, that's been our hour and a few minutes with Pathologic HD.